Preventing animal abusers from adopting another pet. Good afternoon. Welcome to Action News Now. I'm Josh Croup. It's a ballot initiative underway in Michigan. A process of collecting signatures is officially underway to try and make it harder for convicted animal abusers to repeatedly get their hands on another animal. Why is this an issue? Well, according to Michigan State Police data and groups who are supporting an effort to create an animal abuse registry in Michigan, abuse cases involving animals in Michigan are up fourfold since 2016. They have increased every year since state police started tracking data. An effort by the group Project MI Pet would create this registry that would be similar to registries for convicted sex offenders. If you are convicted of a felony offense, you would be on this registry for 5 years. If you're convicted of a misdemeanor, you would be on this registry for 2 years. The goal is to send this idea to voters in 2024, and the efforts just again started to collect signatures. Groups who are trying to get this on the ballot need about 500,000 of them. It would also make it easier for those animals who are abused to get adopted out while their alleged abuser makes their way through the court system. We're going to bring in one of the key backers of this, who's the sheriff up in Flint, Michigan, who joined us on Action News Now and had an earlier conversation with me about the efforts here, why they think it's important, some of the opposition that they are hearing to it, and what the next steps look like to getting this registry up and running in Michigan. And you'll hear how Michigan is going to be different from other states in this. Without further ado, let us welcome in Sheriff Chris Swanson.
Well, I think anybody who's listening to the sound of my voice has heard or seen, even on your station, stories of animal abuse, neglect, torture, abuse causing death. And if you're going to do that to an innocent animal who can't testify, can't give statements, can't articulate pain, then studies show, and the truth is, you're going to do it to another vulnerable population. They deserve better. It's domestic violence. It's child abuse. It's mass violence. And on the second side is, we're going to give these animals a new home when they get rescued. Instead of staying in shelters and societies for however long the case is, within 22 days, we're getting them rehomed and not stuck in cages. The importance of both of those ballot issues that are going to be on the same proposal impacts all of us in Michigan.
What's the timeline look like on this for you?
So this is going to be on the November 2024 ballot. And so we're about 19 months out, and we're way ahead of the game, but we don't leave any stone unturned. We still have to get it on the ballot, which is, I'm so thankful for your platform getting the message out, because there's two ways to do that. The first is to gather signatures, and we need to get about 700,000 of them to get it on the ballot. And that's Michigan law, 10% of the last gubernatorial vote for all candidates. But the other part is to have a legislator put it on the ballot, which we've already experienced last November with Proposal 1. That's a simple vote. That saves money, that saves effort, and we can use that time and effort to give back to rescues, give back to humane societies and animal shelters. So I'm hoping in our connections with the on the ballot that way, that's our best route.
Are there other states that have similar registries right now, or would Michigan be a leader in this front?
Well, it's definitely a leader in the state. There's other jurisdictions that have countywide. Tennessee has a state that's a little bit different, but we are definitely taking the first step forward on creating a registry that is excluding hunters and farmers, that is specific to animal abuse convictions. But that second half, Josh, that's the key. When we rescue, I know this personally from being in law enforcement for 31 years. When we rescue these animals on a case, if the owner doesn't give up ownership, they're stuck in animal controls and shelters till the case is adjudicated. You can go anywhere in the state, even across the country, and you'll see that those animals are stuck in cages for years. We're going to get them rehomed within 22 days of the first probable cause hearing. So it's definitely trend setting, and taking it to the people, it makes the most sense and brings the most awareness to such an important topic.
Have you had any pushback so far, or has it been mostly supportive? And if you have opponents, what are the key reasons that they give for not being on board?
And I'm sensitive to everybody's concerns. I mean, there are groups out there that do not like registries. It doesn't matter if it's animal rights or sex users. They just don't like registries. And we've actually met with these groups, and we told them that we're not restricting geographic, we're not restricting home ownership. We're literally restricting their ability to own an animal, whether it's a misdemeanor, felony, multiple felonies, or habitual offender. If you're going to beat or starve an animal to death, then you've given up the right to own another one and to go shop around the state. And I think when the reality of that sets in, I understand people's positions about registries, but it makes sense. The other pushback is, why not take it through the legislative process? And that's a great question, but it takes years many times to get things through. And at the end, it may not look exactly the way you hoped when you first sponsored the bill. So I'm actually taking a burden from the legislators and saying, hey, listen, let's put it out to the ballot. Let the people decide. The language is very succinct, very easy to understand. It's not complicated. And if they vote for it, then you can make it law. And I will tell you, Josh, I'm happy that our polling will show that it's got an 87% probability of passing if it's on the ballot. It'll be one of the most unifying proposal languages that we're going to bring people together in all of 24, because we know it's going to be a very contested race. But no matter where you are, your love of pets can unify a lot of groups and a lot of people.
Would this be a registry that anybody in the public could look at, or is this only going to be available to breeders or to clinics or shelters?
No, and that's a great question. This is a public registry. So pet stores, in fact, if you go and look at some of the stories I've done as the sheriff, just a month ago, we did a crush video story. They were monetizing these females that were crushing the skulls of helpless animals, gerbils and mice and rabbits, and they're monetizing it to sexual deviants. Now, that individual goes to pet stores and buys 30 of a particular breed of animal. Pet stores will be able to do it. People that sell and our breeders can go. And in fact, I think that by making it public with no cost, everybody's able to see and not demonize these people, but hold them accountable. You have given up your right to own an animal if you beat, starved, or tortured one to death.
Would it explicitly prohibit somebody from owning, or would it just give the seller the ability not to sell if they see their name on there?
Both. This does not hold the seller or the breeder accountable if they don't check the list. It's a tool. Josh, we're giving the people a tool to look, because right now they use Google and Facebook. And so I can go into Grand Traverse County, beat a dog to death, run a puppy mill, have a dog fighting ring, then go to Monroe County and do the exact same thing down there. And a breeder and the animal control, they cannot, and Facebook, but now they can search it, because by that conviction, it'll pull right up. And you could have the autonomy at that point to say, we're not going to adopt, we're not going to foster you, we're not going to sell to you. You have that right.
It is a tool, says Sheriff Swanson. He says if you've beaten or starved or abused an animal, you have given up your right to own one. That, at the end of the day, is why these groups, led by the sheriff here, are trying to get this on the ballot in Michigan next year. Again, they just started collecting signatures, and surely this debate will play out here over the course of the next year and a half. The website to get more information about the ballot initiative, if you're interested, is protectmipet.com. We'll have a link to this on our website as well if you're interested in learning more. We're also covering this tonight on Action News at 6 o'clock. Until then, for all of us here at 13 ABC, I'm Josh Croup. Join us at 4 o'clock at the top of the hour for Action News at 4 with Tina and Tony. Not Tony. That's why I was thinking no Tony today, just Tina. I'm like, I haven't seen Tony today. You get Tina, and is no Dan Smith today. So who's doing weather? I'm guessing Derek Witt, right? So we got Tina and Derek. They'll have all the news for you at the top of the hour on Action News at 4. I'm Josh. Good day.